Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It.
Bonus edition.
Yee! It's my turn.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what category this bonus episode will fall into. But I also don't know what's happening. So, could be a mystery, could be relevant to current news because it's Black History Month. Certainly, probably not a cryptid.
No, but it's not. I don't know. You'll see. You'll find out, I guess.
Okay.
So I had heard about this and thought this is probably not long enough to be a full episode, but I thought it would be good for February for Black History Month. And then February got away from us a little bit. So right here at the end of February, we are ready.
Mm-hmm. I think by the time this comes out, it might not be February anymore. But it's a leap year, so
I feel like you can get it next week.
Yes, but next week March comes.
On Friday.
Okay, that's what I was saying. Any other year, it would be March 1st by Thursday, but it's a leap year. So you can only watch this video once every 4 years.
Otherwise, you'll be watching it in March.
It's going to say it came out February 29th, and you're going to say that day doesn't exist.
Yeah. All right, so today I have the story of the Leesburg Stockade and some young girlies who were stolen and taken to the Leesburg Stockade.
So, what is a stockade?
We'll get there.
Okay.
It's a structure. In the summer of 1963, in Americus, Georgia, segregation was still alive and well. Black neighborhoods and school districts were like different worlds compared to their white counterparts. But everyone, black and white, was trying to just enjoy their summer, which included going to the Martin Theater right there in the center of town. On July 19th, Shirley Green, who was 13 years old, was headed out for the day, but her mother warned her to avoid downtown because there were rumors of a protest set to be taking place at the theater. Little did she know, that's exactly where Shirley was headed that day.
She said, "Yeah, girl, I know that."
She said, "I got you, Mom. No chance I'm going there."
Yes, I'm hearing this, and for the first time.
What? A protest? At the Martin Theater? In the center of town?
Crazy.
Meanwhile, Carol Barner, also 13, was preparing for that protest. She was making signs and getting herself hyped up. I can't remember if it was her. No, it wasn't her. It just wasn't right that they had to use a separate back entrance into the theater and then sit in the blacks only section where they could barely see the movie. All the while, the white section had an abundance of empty seats. So they're just staring at these empty seats that they can't sit in. Carol's mom pleaded with her not to go, but she told her that this was her calling from God and she had to go. Her mom conceded, but asked her not to be gone for more than 2 hours. The protest was organized by the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, also known as SNCC, and led by Lorena Barnum, who was 11 years old. But her grandmother was heavily involved in the civil rights movement. So, I think it was probably organized by her grandmother, but it was a lot of children. So then she let Lorena take the lead. But yes, very cute.
Brave girls.
Yeah. Yeah. So SNCC, you may have heard of or seen this. It's the group that was formed during the sit-in movement and included well-known civil rights activist John Lewis. So they were doing things.
King.
Yeah. Shirley went and met up with her friends, John and Verna, to head across the bridge to the Martin Theater. The crowd of protesters crossed the bridge with signs reading Equal Rights in 63 and Jim Crow Must Go, and then attempted to purchase tickets that day from the main counter, the white counter. As they tried to get their tickets, the police pulled up. Sheriff Fred Chappell, who was the sheriff, he had been called by Martin Luther King Jr. the meanest man in the world. So he pulls up. That's not good. It's not good.
How is it that they always roll up exactly when you don't need them to?
Yeah, well, I think they had heard the rumors of the protest too. I think they were ready.
Fair.
This group of protesters, mostly children between 12 and 15, were placed under arrest and taken to the Dawson County Jail. Many of the girls worried that they would get in trouble with their parents, but others reassured them that their parents would have to be notified and would come to get them. Because that's the law. But it is estimated that between 15 and 30 girls were then loaded into pitch black buses and taken 23 miles out of town to a stockade in Leesburg, Georgia. I am not sure if boys were just like let go or were not arrested to begin with, but the rest of this story is about the girls.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what happened to the boys. The stolen girls found themselves in a Civil War era stockade previously used to hold prisoners of war. It was a small cement building with no electricity and bars on the tiny windows. So like it's just a cement building. Like I don't know why it's called a stockade. But that's what it's called. Inside, it smelled of urine and feces. It was covered in dirt and broken glass from the windows. So they're just walking around in broken glass with only a few thin mattresses inside, leaving most of the girls to have to form beds out of dirt as best as they could. They slept in shifts with someone always awake to keep watch because they had no idea what was going to happen to them. There was one toilet in the room and it was broken and full of feces, and just one leaky faucet as their only water supply. They got small amounts of food, which was just undercooked hamburger patties and egg salad. So really just egg salad because you can't eat undercooked meat, really. So they were hungry, thirsty, dirty, and cramped into this stockade in the middle of the hot Georgia summer. The girls were trying to drink the little water that they could get out of the dripping faucet, like taking turns. But it, and possibly the food, started making the girls sick. At one point, a diamondback rattlesnake made its way inside the stockade. I don't know the story, but someone had to kill that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of these 12-year-old girls.
I would suspect.
Scary. It is said that other girls were coming and going from the stockade after being detained for other things. So it's like interesting because this stockade is talked about like really only in this situation. But like it does make me wonder, like, was it used frequently as like a and it seems for the other girls it's more like temporary, like they're being detained, they're stopping there, and then they're taking them again. But that is probably when they have actual arrests and actual crimes to charge them with, that they can like take them to prison or whatever. So interesting. Back in Americus, friends and family of the missing girls were joining together to find their vanished daughters, granddaughters, sisters, and friends. And at the stockade, The guard was called Pops. He came in and took Sandra Russell, who was 12, out alone. I think it said, although she's like not the youngest, that she was like the smallest of them. So Pops had an office on site where he had carpet instead of dirt floors. He had a radio and other comforts that the girls were not afforded. But the other girls did not know where he had taken Sandra, but he was just allowing her to sit in his office. Like, they didn't know that. Like, they were terrified for her, but it was okay. He came in and instructed 6 of the girls to line up and to go to the hole, which they don't know what that means. First, they demanded that Sandra be brought back. They really were like, hell no, dude, give us our girl back. But he said, don't worry about Sandra. And then he pointed a gun at them and walked them to the hole. He walked them to an area where the grass had been singed black. Just terrifying. Like, can you imagine? You're like, where the fuck are we going? And then it's just like burning
and your
grass.
friend is gone.
Yeah. And you're like, I'm assuming he took her here, right? Like,
yeah.
We're going where she went. He took them to a cellar that he directed them to enter. They went down some stairs to the point where they could no longer see the last step. And when he shut the cellar door, it was absolutely pitch black. A man who worked at the stockade, who was like bringing in, I don't know what his job was, but he was bringing in food to the girls. He came to the home of Mabel Barnum, Lorena's grandmother, who is heavily involved in the civil rights movement, to tell her that he had seen the girls because he knew they were looking for them. And he's like, I know where they are. And he told them that they could not go there to rescue them or else Pops would shoot them. But at least now they knew where the girls were and that they were alive. Which is torturous.
Little comfort.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully he did not say, and then I saw him walk them at gunpoint to a cellar.
Some black grass.
Yeah, because then they're not sure they're alive anymore. It is unclear how long the 6 girls were kept in the cellar before they were brought back to the main structure. And when they returned, Sandra still wasn't there, but eventually, I think like shortly after, she was finally allowed to come back. When she got back, she reassured the girls she had not been hurt or mistreated, but really that Pops just needed someone to talk to. Sweet Sandra. Yeah.
They're babies.
Yeah. They're teeny. There's pictures of them, but Verna Hollis was 15, and she had been sick the whole time they were at the stockade. She could not keep her food down. She was shivering and sore, and all of the other girls were helping to take care of her. They were giving her massages. They were helping to clean when she was vomiting. They were like offering her their mattresses. A whole group effort. They were very worried about her, but she had started to figure out what was going on. Along with the sickness, she realized after at least a month that she had not gotten her latest period, and Verna was pregnant. She was 15, and these other girls are like 12, 11. Yeah. So
I was going to ask if she was the oldest one there.
She was I don't know, there may have been other 15-year-olds, but that was the cap. Like, that's the oldest they got. And so I listened to this like podcast on this, but it was like kind of acted, so I don't know how much of it is like real. But the way that they did it was like, she's like, don't worry, like y'all don't know like what's going on, which is probably like she had a boyfriend and like these 12-year-old girls are like, what, why are you so fucking sick? Like, you're gonna die. And she's trying to be like, I'm not gonna die, like I'm okay. And they're like, you don't seem okay. But also she was not okay. She needed help.
Sweet
for that pregnancy. But the women back in Americus were organizing. They were making plans to get their girls back. Snick discussed the strategy to liberate the girls being held against their will, with still no criminal charges brought against them, which is like how they kept trying to find things out about them, is like looking up looking, like checking with the court, like
Mm-hmm.
have they been arrested? No one's been arrested. So 21-year-old photographer Danny Lyon, a Jewish guy, but involved with SNCC, was tasked with going to the Leesburg Stockade to get proof of the girls being held. He rode down there with a young boy from town and snuck around the back of the building to snap photos of the girls. When he returned to Americus, the photos were released to the media. The stolen girls had been in the stockade during the August 28th March on Washington, during Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech, and were in the stockade on September 15th when, in Birmingham, Alabama, 4 members of the KKK had bombed the 16th Street Baptist Church. And this was the first Black church to organize in Birmingham. So, pretty obvious. Well, I was going to say pretty obvious hate crime, but the KKK wasn't hiding at that point, I guess. They were just being white-hooded.
Yeah, they didn't think it was crimes. It was just,
Yeah.
they were like, this is hate fun for us.
Yeah.
Everyone's having a great time and no one's getting in trouble.
Yeah. The police are here with us.
Yeah.
In 16th Street Baptist Church, 4 young Black girls were killed in the attack and dozens more were injured. An estimated 2,000 people had shown up at the church after the explosion, and within hours of the bombing, there was civil unrest in the streets. It made national and international news. People were outraged and realized maybe they hadn't taken the civil rights movement in the South seriously enough.
How long have they been there at this point? A couple months?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
they were taken in July-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's September.
Okay.
The photos taken by Lyon were breaking in Jet magazine at the same time as this bombing. So with the increasing pressure, the girls were finally released and returned to their families after being held prisoner for almost 2 months. So around 2 months. The girls got home on a Friday, but then they went back to school on Monday. They fell right back into their roles of student, big sister, and helper around the house. Though criminal charges were never charged against the girls, the parents received bills charging them $2 a day for using their facilities. Which, like, I know, like,
Shut the fuck
I know
up.
this is gonna sound so, like, 2024 of me and white of me, but, like, wouldn't, like, couldn't you just be like, I'm not paying you. You took my daughter for nothing. You have no, like, proof that she needed to be there because there's no charges. I'm not fucking paying you. Like,
yeah, I didn't agree
I
to
don't-
this. I didn't
I
ask
don't
you to
under-
bring her there. Shut the fuck up. Like,
I wanted her to be using my facilities.
yeah, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
CNN spoke to some of the stolen girls in 2023, now grown women. When asked if Carol ever received an explanation for why she was detained, she simply pointed to her skin. They didn't even know that they were in Leesburg. In fact, she says that this information would have evoked more fear and panic because Leesburg was known colloquially as Lynchburg for obvious reasons. Shirley, whose mother had always hoped her daughter would attend college at Spelman one day, went on to earn 3 degrees. Not at Spelman, but that's surely not the part that her mom was worried about. She got her bachelor's in health and physical education at Savannah State University, her master's at Georgia State, and then her doctor of philosophy degree at Florida State University. She became a professor, researcher, and councilwoman. Verna Hollis had her son, Joseph, who did an interview with her in 2016, just 1 year before she would pass away. So her pregnancy worked out. And that's it. There's so not a lot of information, but there's pictures of these girls And like they like are like smiling for this
Yeah. I
photographer.
was gonna
Like,
ask, like, what is up with these pictures where they're like smiling and it's not even pictures of the day that they left.
and it's
Like,
like
brave,
people
brave girls.
theorize, people theorize like they're smiling because they're seeing someone, and it's someone who's like nice to them. Like he like came over and he was like, "Hi, like your grandmother's looking for you. Your grandmother knows you're here." Like he's like talking to them. So like they're smiling because they trust him, which is like fair. But also like because they're little girls
I was
and
gonna say,
they're
because they're 12 and
brave.
13 and someone's taking a picture of them. Like, they're like, oh, we're
Yeah.
taking a picture. Everybody smile. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like always like baffles me, like hearing these stories and like the like horror of it, but also like that it did not seem to like harden them in the
Mhm.
situation. Like, they're taking care of each other, they're worrying about each other, they're giving each other things. Like, it's just like amazing how like good hearted they remain through
Yeah.
that for 2 months. But
Mhm.
also like it's just one of those things that's like, what can you say? Because like
Yeah.
we shouldn't be like amazing women, good job girls, because like why the fuck has this happened to them?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's like
And
it feels weird.
again, like I guess it's possible that like something similar was happening, but like where are the boys?
Yeah.
Like why is this what happened to 15 to 30 girls? And like I think people have always kind of been like, what are they gonna do? Arrest all of us? And it's like in this case, they literally were like, and because they're so young and small, like these police can overtake them, but they're like, yeah, we're just gonna round them up, throw them on a bus. We don't even have to use space in our jails. Like we'll just take
Mhm.
them here. And like, yeah, and I think it's like unfortunate that this is like not well known because like it's obviously overshadowed by like what else was going on
Mhm.
at the exact same time, and like a bombing where four black girls actually died
Yeah.
got more coverage than this. And
Mhm.
yeah, but I also think like I don't know if people just like didn't really know, like Martin Luther King Jr. didn't really know, but I think it's
Yeah.
like important to know that like he's literally making his speech, his big old speech, and like these girls don't even know because they're
Mhm.
trapped here.
Yeah.
So that's
Good.
it. It's quick,
Thank
but
you. Yes.
yeah.
I learned so much. I think I'm
Yay!
gonna make a new category for bonus episodes, like maybe Untold History is the
Sure.
category, and then we can add to that
Yeah.
over time as well.
Yeah. I was like, if you do
Yeah.
civil rights, I'm not sure how
Yeah.
many more we'll have
Yeah.
that
Well,
aren't
my first
known.
thought was like dark history or like bleak history, but I was like, I don't know if I want to. That's
Mm.
too sad. But like Untold History, because like no, I didn't know about this.
Yeah. And it's like there's 30 up to 30 girls and I know the names of about 5.
Right.
Like that's rough. And like those are the girls whose moms were the most active, whose
Yeah.
grandparents were the most active, and it's like that's like not to say the other 25 girls' parents weren't searching for them. It's just like
Yeah.
these people that got their names in the paper, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't. Bye.
Bye.